What is going on with Wilfried Zaha? We're starting pre-season now. Games are going to come thick and fast, but we still don't know what's going to happen with the future. Until now, there's reports coming out suggesting that, Wilfried Zaha could potentially be staying at Palace. So we'll look into those reports and what that could mean for this upcoming week. Look at also what we're expecting from these pre-season games, answering the questions and more. Let's get started with Palace news. What's going on, people? Welcome back to Live Palace News. It's me, Dee. I'm joined by AJ here. Most importantly, before we even get started, pray that the stream doesn't crash. For those of you who have been trying to join the streams or be trying to watch them, there's been chaos going on behind the scenes. I've tried to fix it. I don't know if it is fixed. I guess we'll find out here. But luckily, I'm joined by AJ here. So if things go south, there's someone else to take over the reins. But before we do get started, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, people. As always, it helps us out massively. It takes a second of your time. And before we do get started, AJ, how does it feel right now? Preseason game starting, first one tomorrow against Barnet. I know we're going to talk about Wilf and that, but it's happening. Things are happening, fast. I feel like only literally last week it feels like the season ended, but everything just flew by. It's been what, a month, 2 months now.
Yeah, man. I'm actually quite excited, man. I think because it's been kind of dull for the past couple of weeks and it's been kind of negative to kind of see the how can I describe it? Essentially to see the players and the full internationals come back into the squad and, some potential interesting news popping off today. It's good to see, man. It kind of gassed me a little bit, man. I'm in a good place right now, man. I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's looking good. So tomorrow we kick off with Barnet away. Yeah. There was a little bit of a little tedious thing in the Palace training video I saw today. They might be releasing some new kits tomorrow. We shall see. Yeah, man, I'm starting to get excited, man. Football's coming back, and my timeline's flooded with loads of stuff going on. So, yeah, man, bring it on, man. Bring it on.
Look, I want to get excited, but I'll be honest, I'm not as excited yet because there isn't really that much of change to be excited about. Maybe once Will announced, then you can be a bit excited about that. If that does happen, of course, we're going to talk about that. Don't worry about that. Or maybe if you get another sign, I think Lerma is a good addition to the squad, but there hasn't been that much that's happened over the summer for me to be excited in the first place. So before the first game, are you... How excited are you? So let's talk about on a scale of 1 to 10. 10, the most excited. 1, you don't really... Not that you don't care, but you're not as optimistic. So how are you feeling right now going into this first preseason game? I know it's only preseason.
Well, funny enough, I've missed football. I think I've missed football in Palace so much. I was tempted to subscribe to Palace TV. So I'll give it a 7.5 because I still want to get a couple signings through the door. I really want to find out what's going on with Wilf. It's getting a bit ridiculous right now with that, but yeah, man. At the end of the day, man, I think it's missing the football rather than begging for new signings to come through the door and demanding that we spend the tens of millions of pounds. I think the kind of thrill of having competitive football, having football back and seeing some sort of form of Palace, that's got me relatively excited. I still know that there's work to be done. I feel like Lerma's a good addition. Seeing him in training today was quite interesting. Seeing him meet all the players and seeing the staff and everything welcome him as well was really good to see. Video and photos as well. New training kit. The jury's still out for that one. That might need a bit of convincing.
I like it. It gives me summer vibes. I don't know how I feel about it in the winter.
There's a reason why you get summer off, D. There's a reason why you get summer off, and the football's played for the winter seasons, bro. So I'm going to nip that one in the bud real quick. But actually, funny enough, ironically, I like the reverse one, so the one that's grey with the little bit of orange on there. I like that. Maybe I need to sit up front. Maybe I'll just sit up front.
Yeah. I know once you see it, you're going to be like, oh, you know what? I really like these new kits.
No, do you know it was? Funny enough, my partner was hating on the Palace home kit, right? And then we went to the Palace shop in Bromley a couple of days ago and then saw it up close and she was like, all right, yeah, that's the one. I was like, you're buying me. I was like, yeah, you're buying me that.
Yeah. I need to get mine before he goes on holiday. But in honesty, right now, AJ, you know what I'm excited about? The fact that the stream hasn't crashed and I've survived 5 minutes without it crashing. Like,
Come on, son. Come on.
there hasn't been much to talk about with Palace, but the fact that I've survived this long without it going all the way nuts, like people have known over the last 2 to 3 streams, it's probably been the hardest streams like possible over these last year or two. Like I kept getting kicked out, so I'm just thankful that I can actually talk about Palace, even though there hasn't been much to talk about. We've missed quite a bit. So actually, before we get started about what Zaha, as there isn't that much on the agenda today, what do you make of the Sean Derry news? Because we haven't managed to cover that due to our constant. So that's what I was actually talking about in the last stream. Well, it lasted about a minute or two. I said it in the intro, and then boom, I was gone. But is it so? In your honest opinion, do you see it as a positive? I don't think you'll see it as a negative. Or do you think it's
good question?
Announcement, because after Lerma, you can make the argument. Well, there hasn't been anything else. That has been the biggest news. So now that you've had time to digest it, luckily, because the stream has been crashing. So what have you made of it all?
Oh, good question. I think I'm a little bit bitter about it, because I felt like the undermining of Vieira was in full effect with the whole Derry putting him on garden leave, not really getting rid of him, because, whatever you think of the Vieira regime, at the end of the day, you shouldn't be undermining the manager from a positional standpoint. And I feel like the club kind of did that to him. And let's be honest, if Sean Derry didn't have the Palace connection, would we be excited of getting a coach of that caliber? That's going to be my first question with that. At the end of the day, yes, he knows the club. Yes, he's got a connection to the club. He definitely, obviously, has a lot of passion. Obviously, that's been well documented in the locker room and stuff like that. I mean, as long as the players can respond to it, that's what I'm more fussed about, because allegedly the whole thing was he used to rip into players, and, with the modern footballer and the way they operate and they are nowadays, they may not respond to that. When I used to play football as a kid, that was different because that was the norm. But
you say that, AJ. I need to stop you there, but you don't want to look too much into things. But when he got announced, there were a few players that was liking it. Like I think Yoki Man, so like that as well. So of course, look, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. I think there's that. I think with Sean Derry, I can't say it's a very good appointment or it's a very bad one. I guess it's a good one because he knows the club and we know what to kind of expect behind the scenes due to how Vieira fired him. So he'll get the players up for it. But the bigger question is, are we seeing a coaching duo being formed in terms of Paddy McCarthy and Sean Derry that could take over after the season done with Roy Hodgson? Do you think that's a possibility that we're seeing at play right now? Not that you might not want it, but do you think that could be okay? Not that you might not want it, but do you think this could be the build up to it?
Judging by what I've seen historically with Palace, I wouldn't rule it out. And at the end of the day, it's still there to be proven. And what I mean by that is the thing is, right, I don't want it to be, what we need to be wary of is making this a whole jobs for the boys kind of thing, or jobs for the boys that saved us 10 years ago, because nostalgia can be potentially a dangerous thing. I think it's great that, if he's got that coaching experience, he's obviously loved at the club, at least to a certain extent. Every time I see him at a match day, he's, loved and shaking hands, and he seems like a really nice guy. But if it can make a positive impact in terms of the results we get on the pitch, then I'm all for it. But what I don't want to do is slip into the danger of getting sucked into let's just get jobs for the boys, because, he knows a couple guys when they were under 21 players and all that rest of it. At the end of the day, the reality situation is between Paddy McCarthy and Sean Derry. Coaching experience at the elite level, I'm not sold. But if they're there to help Roy and they can flip it to a positive, then I will support it no matter what. It's my club. I got to back the club to, whatever decisions they make. Sometimes, whether I agree with them or not, that's a different set of politics altogether. But let's just see how it plays out. Let's just hope that it goes well. If it goes well and everything works out and we have a great season, then I'll be the first to put my hand up and say, you know what? They did an amazing job. I'm just intrigued to see how it unfolds. That's all.
Yeah. Look, it's going to be hard to know whether it's a success or not unless you ask those players behind the scenes. And if the players are happy about it, which there probably must be, because the one thing about Steve Parish that people don't really often talk about is that he's got a connection with some of these players. So even when Vieira probably got sacked, he had an impact based on some of the players said. And, some of the players still haven't said goodbye to Vieira, which probably speaks volumes. So if some of the players or Paddy McCarthy wanted Sean Derry, then it's probably a right move. So, I mean, we'll see what happens next season, but that's positive in a way that we're improving our coaching staff. There's more coaches involved. Paddy McCarthy's there, Sean Derry's there, that knows the players, on top of Roy and Ray. So we've strengthened behind the scenes there. But talking about behind the scenes, let's talk about players on the pitch. And the main man, arguably Crystal Palace's greatest ever player, we still don't know what's happening with his future. He's been linked with Fenerbahce, Saudi, Lazio over in France, PSG. So he's been linked with every other club out there. But according to the latest reports, let's go through it right now. According to the Standard, it looks like Wilfried Zaha is set to decide his future this week, people, which is a positive because finally the saga is set to be finished. We'll see if we'll do win the race, but I'll read out the article. He's going to decide his future as his honeymoon period is over. Of course, he got married, for those that know. I think it was last week, so he should be returning back to Crystal Palace. And the article suggests from the Standard that Crystal Palace are hopeful of re-signing Wilfried Zaha back to a new contract, which is worth around £200,000 a week, which we've known for ages as well. Al Nassr, one of the richest clubs in the world, not in the world, but one of the richest clubs in Saudi, they offered Zaha double, the most money, with an offer more than double Crystal Palace's £200,000 a week, but it seemed like he rejected that. Palace are, however, privately confident that Zaha will stay. Zaha so far has used the club's facilities for recovery as well, because of course of his hamstring injury, but he hasn't spoken so far to either manager Roy Hodgson or Steve Parish as well, which is quite interesting. But AJ, as this has dragged on, I said it from time as well, and I'm probably saying it now, I feel like Wolf is going to end up staying. Because if he was going to leave, if there was an offer out there, I think he would have took it by now. I think he's been waiting for better offers or waiting to see if other clubs offer him. But the fact that nothing has major happened so far, and what the article is suggesting that privately we're confident about him staying, I think we must know something behind the scenes to suggest that Wolf is going to stay. But most importantly, how important do you think it is that we get it done and dusted this week? Because I love Wilf to bits, and some people were even saying, like, let's put a deadline on it, because it's impacting our transfers, right? Because we don't know if Wilf is going. If we don't know if Wilf is going to sign or not, and it drags on for another 2 weeks, then we don't know if we need another left winger or striker, for example. But for you, in terms of importance, do we need to get it done this week, or do you think we still have a bit of time because of pre-season to drag it out?
Good question. For me, I think it's very important to get it done as soon as possible. I think it's been a frustrating, and I think he's let it drag a little bit too much. I'm not a fan of it. The thing you got to take, not even take into consideration as such. The thing is, I didn't really think he was leaving. That was just my personal logic and my personal opinion, and I did say that on various different streams in the past. I'm for one relieved he's staying. If that is the case, all signs seem to be pointing that he will stay. And I'll be one of the first ones to admit I am actually very delighted and happy about it, to be fair. But in answer to your initial question, I did think it was important that he did it as soon as possible. And I did find it very frustrating because I personally believe there's a chain reaction to what's going to happen. So what will happen is essentially he will sign. We know what kind of budget to work for. We know what kind of players we need to target. So I felt that if he had decided that he was going to leave, and this is obviously not 100% guaranteed, this could all flip on its head within the next few days, but it did sort of, going back to the same sort of point, if he did sort of leave, I think the chain reaction would have been different. We would have been having to target an attacking player on that left-hand side. We would have had to consider maybe that we might have to thin and cut down the budget in other areas of the squad. I think now that he's signing, we know what kind of money we're working with. We know what kind of targets to attack. And Doogie and Steve can kind of do what they need to do in the background. However, that being said, I do feel like we did still need another winger. A, because of the Elise situation, and B, because I just don't think there's enough depth there. And I also feel the club should have thought smarter or worked a little bit or boxed clever to ensure that we got the options in terms of the fullback situation and in terms of the striker situation. That should have been worked on regardless. But I'm relieved he's staying. I'm happy he's staying if that does turn out to be the case. a lot of reports coming out this evening that I've been literally refreshing my Twitter and seeing things from your neck of the woods, mate. Reporters from the Turkish side of things talking about how potentially he definitely wants to stay now. But let's be honest, until he's holding up the shirt, or I see man in training, or I see the long-lived promotion sort of thing.
He's been there. He's been in Crystal Palace.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
In an official capacity, essentially.
Yeah.
In an official capacity. I want an announcement video. I want to see some propaganda. I want to see some Zaha propaganda now. You know, I think.
And I do think I want to ask about the manager, because when Roy signed, there was a lot of frustration from certain people. They didn't want Roy to stay. But do you think, is it more about his family? Well, it's hard for you to answer. But if he does end up staying? Is it a case of him not getting good enough offers from Wood? Do you think he genuinely wants to stay? Is it £200,000 a week? Like, I think. What do you think is the reason? Because surely, if he wanted to stay at Palace, like that's what his mind made up, then he would have signed a contract from early April, which is what reports were suggesting, that we offered it in April, the contract. So
it's a very interesting point. So for me, right, similar but very different. Every career decision I've made over the past few years in terms of where I've worked, in terms of my layout and setup, has been to the best decision of my children. Now, I do believe that Wilfried Zaha would be in the same boat, because his children, actually age-wise, aren't dramatically too different from or too dissimilar from the age of my little people. And any sensible human being will always put the priorities of their family and, more importantly, their children first. And I think at the end of the day, if Wilf's being smart, at the end of the day, there's ways around things, and there's always private tutoring, and there's always money, and but I think that him and his partner are settled. They've literally just got married. They've just come back from their honeymoon. You've got to also factor in the facilities of, obviously, his children are very young, so they're probably entering the educational system. He lives in a very affluent area where he will be able to get probably some of the best education available in London, maybe potentially the country. He's also in an area, and he's also in a set scenario where if he's comfortable at the club, he's well invested in the area. Obviously, it's well documented that obviously he's invested in ventures in the area as well. He will be able to put himself in a position where he can build a legacy for his children and his family, and not as such as that they're set for life, but that he is able to create that said legacy under his name. Yes, he would get more money, and he can still do that stuff kind of remotely. We're living in 2023 where these things can be all done from the comfort of a laptop nowadays. But I think in terms of just making sure he oversees anything, and from the family man aspect, I think the logical answer would have been Palace. Unless he would have got maybe a London club or potentially a Premier League big boy team, I didn't think that would have been the case, to be fair. It all just makes sense. It makes sense for us because I feel like we're not quite ready. I think we're nearly there, but I don't think we're quite ready to get rid. I also do believe that in terms of his side of things, at his age and the kind of money that's been put on the table, it would be very hard for him to walk away and say no, unless he obviously had an offer that blew him out of the water. And in terms of the way that his family life settled, I'm not particularly sold on the idea that he would have went to Saudi Arabia anyway, or he would have went to sort of pastures too far away from home. Because when your family network is close to you and your professional lifestyle operates around your family, you have to kind of, I wouldn't even say sacrifice, but you have to kind of essentially build around them as best as you can.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a family decision. I think it was a pure financial one. Then right now, I don't think Wilf is in a conversation about staying at Crystal Palace, because as a report suggested from the Standard, and as we've known for a long time, Saudi gave him the best financial offer, an offer that none of us could have matched, and he still rejected it. So literally, I think it's a financial one. But what do you think about this from Andy? Does Wilf going on the free and re-signing mean that Manchester United's sell-on has been void, where a re-sign keeps in place? I actually don't know.
It does.
Yeah, I think it should. I think it should, and I think that's interesting as well. Now that that's gone down the line, if he signs a 4-year deal, and let's say 2 years on, he gets an offer, a good offer from one of these clubs, and maybe you could sell Wilf for like 15 or 20 million pound. Well, it depends as age, how it's playing. So I think that'd be interesting, because if that sell-on clause has been void, then that's perfect for us in that aspect. Tim also says, get the budget sorted so we can actually address rumors like Barcelona would be up for selling Dest at £60 million. Probably can't afford that while going for a striker, but still interesting. Yeah, there's been a few rumors here and there, but
I like that.
What have you
I
made?
like it.
We've had a little break on the channel, not break, but we've had technical issues, so we haven't been able to jump on. But Sergio Dest has been one of those has been linked in the past. Like, I remember I've been speaking about Sergio Dest probably 2 months ago, 3 months ago. He's been linked. In terms of like players being rumored to join and stuff, how have you felt about that? Because for me, even today, apart from Zaha, there hasn't been really that much. Of course, not everything's going to be out there in the public, but is it, as you mentioned, is it just that chain reaction where we're just waiting on Zaha to sign, then afterwards we know
For
our
sure.
budget? Is that the reason?
For sure. I mean, it's no secret we want a striker. There's no secret that, you know, I mean, even if you watch, you know, I'm a big YouTube person that watches a lot of different content, and everybody that always talks about us always screams striker or fullback. So, you know, everybody can kind of see what we need. I like the Sergio Dest rumors. I'd have him any day of the week. I think he's quality. I noticed Tim slipped in a bit of that US agenda propaganda, but you know, we'll let it go because I like him. But in all fairness, yeah, I think once it's official, then I think we'll start working on other areas in the team. I think we'll definitely get a striker. Who the striker may be is anyone's guess, because I don't know what kind of budget we have, and I don't know
could that striker be Zaha? I was thinking about that. Could Roy put Wilf up front?
Unless we get another winger. There's no point.
That's what's going, because strikers come at premium, right? So could it be a chance that we get another winger and put Zaha up front? I'm not.
But then I could. It's an interesting concept, but I've never been sold on Wilf being a striker. And I've been preaching that probably since I first came on Back in the Nest. I've never been sold on Wilf being a striker.
Yeah, but that's under Vieira, though. That's under Vieira. And 100%, I get where you're coming from. But I think Wilf has got the qualities to be a striker. I think he has. The problem under Vieira is that we couldn't give him the service. So you're arguably putting our best player up front where he was getting no service and not getting involved in the game. It wasn't really an issue with him being a striker. It was the fact that we couldn't get a ball to him. I think that's where the main problem was. And that's why I didn't want him to play up front under Vieira. And I said that many times. But now that Vieira isn't here and we got Hodgson there, I wouldn't mind giving him a go up front once again, because I think he has got the qualities to play up front. Like, his finishing has improved over the years as well. So it was a case of, if we can get the service up to him, then there's no issues there. And if Eze plays like he did towards the end, there's so many ifs and buts right now. And I said this when Hodgson signed as well. I don't know how we're going to play, because, you know, carrying on from Vieira and preparing for the last 10 games of the season is different to starting a new fresh season, having a break and going through preseason. So we'll see what happens there. But I think he has got the quality to play up front, don't you?
He does, but I've always been sold on the idea he's more effective coming in than cutting in from the left. That's just how I look at him. I think, you know, there are still other striker options out there. You know, I haven't ruled out alone. I've still kind of got my own little personal propaganda pushing towards Amando Broja. I do like him. I think there's also an opportunity to look at Dembele. He's still available as well. There are other striker options available that their trade is a striker by choice. And remember, if we do get Wilf in and we do get a half-decent striker, whoever that half-decent striker will then have Wilf, Eze, Elise, Lerma, and Decore behind him.
Yeah, I see Lerma. He's training.
That is beautiful. That might potentially be the best squad we've ever had in the Premier League.
What?
If we get the right striker.
Damn, that's a big claim,
you know. But then I challenge anybody on that. But it depends who the striker is, because if we end up buying some wasted talent or Timo Pukki or something mad like that, then, you know, all hell's gonna break loose. But if we actually, you know, if it's a Balogun or if it's you know, I don't hate the idea of Dembele, actually. I don't know. You know, it depends. The problem is, we still got a good...
I'm not really... I feel like
I don't hate it.
I feel like it's old. He's had a few problems.
Goals are goals, man. At the end of the day, if it means that it's going to give Mateta and Edouard a kick up the arse, then I'm good.
Yeah.
Let them compete. Let them compete for it.
Yeah. Jamal says we need a forward. Lewis says could see longevity with Wilf up top, similar to CR7.
Close.
Andy's saying Wilf will start to slow down with age. Some going to the middle, maybe Cam or striker. Yeah, look, if he slows down with age, I think he's got the technical ability to play up front. You know, but then again, Jamal says he's not the solution. So everyone's got their opinions about it, and I understand why some people may not like Wilf as a solution up front, because of what's happened under Vieira. I get it. But then again, if you look at his abilities, his strengths, how good his dribbling, even his first touch, even his finishing, his finishing's improved as well. I think he could play a role. I think he could play a role up front if we do get a winger, by the way. So we still need to strengthen, but it might have to be a winger rather than a striker. So it depends.
I think the thing is, we still got, if we can just get the Wilfried thing sorted, then we can start having that sort of speculation. Because at the end of the day, now that I guess the club will essentially start looking in those said directions, then we can start worrying about who those players potentially might be. For me personally, I'd rather just get the Wilfried thing done. And, you know, if I'm being honest, I can't envision anything coming out till Thursday, Friday. So let's not get excited and think it's going to be at the beginning of the week. I think it's going to be the latter part of the week. And then I think next week, you'll start seeing the other rumours of other players as soon as pre-season really starts kicking off. Because if we're smart, before we get on that plane to America, we need to have our best, most complete squad we possibly can have.
Yeah, and that's the thing. With rumours and bringing in players, yes, we've still got a month left till the season starts. But ideally, if you want to bring in any new player, you want to bring them in by now or in the next week or two, because you don't want to bring them in at the last minute right before the season starts. You want them to have a good preseason. You want them to understand the players. You want them to understand what Roy expects from them. You want Roy to see what some of these players can do in preseason as well. So if the Zaha situation gets sorted this week, then I feel like we will probably kick on with some of these players and probably see how much we have in the bank in terms of budget as well. But that needs to happen. I think Zaha needs to happen more than anything, and it has to happen this week for me. It has to. No, I'm not saying that if it doesn't happen this week, withdraw the offer, because I'm not going to that level. I know some people are saying that, but I don't agree with that. But ideally, like, he should be known by now. He's had a long time to think about this. He's had his offers in front of him as well to think about his current offers from other clubs. And if he doesn't like it, then you either join Palace or you go somewhere else. Like, I don't know how.
I don't know, D. I got to object to that point slightly. Just slightly, right? Because what he's done, right? And obviously, anybody, I'm open for anybody to correct me on this one, but the season's ended, right? He's had the injury. He's then had his stag do, and then he's then had his wedding, and then he's had his honeymoon. Obviously, that's all cramped within that sort of 3-4 week period, right? At what point has he really had to sit there? Because when I'm in, when I'm in holiday mode and I'm in chill mode, let's say it's been a good weekend after a busy week at work. Obviously, in comparison to a long season, is a very different concept. But when I'm on holiday, I'm not really thinking about the work and the contracts and the terms and conditions and all the rest of it,
Yeah, but his agent.
I've got to kind of give him a little bit. Yeah, but he's still got to sit there and weigh up the options, bro. Because at the end of the day, when they bring in 3-4 pieces of paper, one says Fenerbahce, one says Lazio, one says Crystal Palace, and the other one says, I don't know, some club in Saudi Arabia.
But then he's had them offers for. It's not like he's had them offers this week. He's had these offers for a while now. Like, if he doesn't decide this week, then I don't know what else you're waiting for. My theory.
I don't know, man. I feel like we've got to give him a bit of leeway. I feel like we've got to give him a little bit of leeway with that.
Yeah, but it's impacting us, AJ. We're talking about leeway, but it's impacting us. We're talking about.
That's fair.
We're talking about chain reactions and all of that. Based on him, I love him to bits and I want him to stay, but sooner rather than later, like, you need to make a decision for your benefit and for our benefit. For Wilf, he can wait for another 2 to 3 weeks. The season doesn't start till another 2 to 3 weeks, and he's got this injury as well, so he's probably fine. But for us, we can't do that. Like, we need to know sooner rather than later. I don't want to be talking about Zaha come next week. The only way I'm talking about Zaha come next week is, oh wow, he signed a new contract, or what we're gonna do next. Like, I don't want to talk about his contract situation. That needs to end this week. It needs to be done and sorted so we can actually focus on what we need to do. He's had enough time, AJ. He's had a break. Yes, he might not have thought about it, but now he's back. Like, honeymoon, all that, like, all your offers are there. You're not going to get any other offers. Like, all the other teams that spoke to your agents, maybe they didn't put an offer. Maybe some of them did put an offer. We've seen it with Saudi. They tried to improve the offer. So all of these situations are scenarios have happened. Now it's time for you to decide, like, what else can you wait for? So I think it will happen this week. But if it doesn't happen this week, I'll be very disappointed and angry, because it's taken forever.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. But look, that's how I feel about the situation anyways. I want him to stay. But I think the offer, as the Standard are reporting, I think Palace are hopeful, and now that he's back this week from his honeymoon, and hopefully focusing on his rehab and focusing for the next season, I feel like he'll make that decision sooner rather than later. But Igor Football says, agree, D, we need to sign someone regardless of Wilf's decision or force his hand because this is taking time. Yeah, I think it will. Yeah, I think it will happen this week anyways. But people, if you're enjoying this, make sure to hit a like and subscribe. We managed to survive the stream. which is good. Half an hour without getting kicked out.
Give a thumbs up for Dee not logging out. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Will's brother recently died. I think that might have, oh yeah, you're right. That may be a
swear down.
why it's taking longer than perhaps it would have. Yeah, I think it's on his Instagram profile picture. I didn't know he was a brother.
Swear down.
Yeah, he changed his IG profile picture. That was like about 2 weeks ago, I think, before his wedding.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I didn't realize that what it was. So my condolences to that family, man. My condolences to the family. That's messed up.
Yeah, I didn't know that as well. I've seen the photo, but I didn't know his brother. But yeah, look, he's, you know, this is the week. I think this is a week where he decides. You know, we've gone through everything. As you said, AJ, he's had stuff going through, stuff going on, such as wedding and some family stuff, and you know, just relaxing, because sometimes you just want to relax, as you said. As the season's done and all of this, you wanna make the decision with a clear mind. It's not an easy decision, as others are saying in the chat as well. But now that that's all done and settled, I think has to be the week. And I think Swamp agrees as well. It's a big decision for him personally. I agree with AJ. Zaha now being home gives him time to decide. I'm sure there are conversations we aren't aware of behind the scenes as well. Does Wilf owe his family stability though? If it genuinely is only Lazio, Fenerbahce, Saudi is staying. Yeah, look, Saudis seem like they tried to come with a big offer. So, yeah, we'll see.
Would you really want to go work in the desert for Steven Gerrard? I don't know about all that.
You say that, bro, but if someone is giving you £400,000 a week,
but that's me. Like, me and Zaha's bank balances are two different. We don't even go to the same bank, rude boy. Like, those are two different entities altogether.
You ain't got the Amex.
No, I ain't got a black Amex. Oh, I ain't got a gold Amex. That's for sure. No, yeah, I'm cooking, man. I'm cooking.
Yeah, you got the British Airways Amex, the starter pack. Yeah, you ain't got the
Air Miles, yeah.
Yeah, Air Miles. That's what you got.
Don't worry about what I got, mate.
Yeah, but then again, bro, I'm telling you, if someone offered me like 400, 500k a week. Let's say they said back of the desert, not the nest. We're there, bro. We're in the desert. We're recording.
Hey, there's eagles in that part of the world, you know. Don't worry about it. We're all moving the families out there, mate. 400 grand a week. I can pay the whole staff. We're moving out there, boys.
Yeah.
We'll get T, Patrick, Stan, all of them lot over.
Yeah, we're recording this live Palace news live in the desert, just relaxing in the heat. Yeah, bro, I'll do that, man.
Yeah.
For about 400k a week, 500k a week. That's crazy money, But of course, he's got millions already, so it doesn't really. And plus, he's gonna get £200,000 a week. Like, what a mess. What a mess. Only £200,000 a week. Yeah, only £200,000 a week, which is crazy, you know.
However, will he survive? However, will he survive?
How much footballers earn until we like soak it in. Like, we always say figures. Oh, £100,000 a week, or like,
is that it? Like, them ones
like,
there.
You get it. It's like a different world. Like, wait, hold up. £130,000 a week. Are you crazy? So that is, it sounds crazy. But this is the game that we're in. This is the game that we're in, and you know, it's part and parcel of the game. And I ain't one of those people to say, you know, doctors earn this much, etc., and we should do, you know, this is a different industry, so it is what it is. I actually want to talk about something before we wrap up. And that is tomorrow's game. Now it's kicking off against Barnet. By the way, people, if you're enjoying this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. There's over 100 people on here, so it only takes a second of your time. We don't really ask for anything else apart from that. If you're watching on replay as well, make sure to leave down your thoughts on the Zaha situation in the comment section down below. But AJ, maybe not against Barnet. I think Barnet, these type of games might be more of a fitness test rather than tactical. But are you expecting to see some of these youngsters? Like, what are you looking forward to in these preseason games coming up? It's only preseason.
I don't think
things that you want to try out.
Based on the players and when they returned and how they returned, I don't envision them playing. What you'll find is the players that we saw in the original return to training vid. So, if I'm not mistaken, there was Klein in that, Malcolm, Scott Banks, Phillips, probably get Bulmer in there. Goodman. I'm trying to think. What other first teamers? Joe Wood looked like he was there. Gyro probably. I don't think there'll be many first team. None of the internationals will be in the squad. I can't imagine that being a thing. I reckon it'll probably just be a run out for the kids, and the players that kind of are in that kind of squad/bench kind of bracket. To be honest, Richards was an international G as well. So. Yeah, I don't envision any of the first team players making an appearance. I reckon it'll be a bag of youth players and then maybe 5 first team players.
You know? I think I think there'll be a bit of first team players. Of course, we're not going to see Lerma. I don't think I'm expecting to see Lerma. He just came in.
I don't think you'll get Lerma, Decore, Anderson, Eze,
Well,
Gay.
Eze,
None of those players are playing. Eze won't play. He was in the international break.
Eze international, yeah. Eze,
At best, you might get them on the bench, but what's the point?
Maybe.
Like,
we'll see.
They literally returned to training today. So
no, well, Lerma did, but weren't they in training last week? They weren't training last week.
No, not the internationals weren't. The internationals weren't.
Yeah, international. Yeah.
So I mean, all the photos, funny enough, that I and I'm sure a lot of the Palace bases have been getting gassed about. Yeah, I don't think you're going to see any of them, man. If, at best, a couple of them might make the bench to make up numbers because we don't have a fat enough squad to even entertain that. But without no disrespect to Barnet, it's Barnet. Right? It's a run out.
Say that, but you're forgetting one thing. Do you remember when we faced Barnet under Hodgson? Do you remember that? A lot of people might be forgetting. We faced him in pre-season. You don't remember, do you?
The David's Derby. The David's Derby.
But do you remember what happened? You don't. In
the
pre-season friendly against Barnet. You don't.
Nope.
Let me get the actual scoreline because I don't think it was recent. Well, when I say recent, it was when Hodgson was manager. You don't remember us facing Barnet?
I don't care about pre-season. Not like that, anyway. That.
Yes, it was a pre-season game, but it was a bit like, what on earth is going on? Someone put the score. Someone put the score in the chat.
Educate me. Remind me.
Pretty
Educate
sure,
me.
I think it was like 6-0 or 7-0 we lost. Don't you remember? I'm not correct. 4-3. Was it 4-3? No, I need to. 6-2. Yeah, 2019. We faced him in pre-season. We lost to them 6-2 against Barnet away from home.
Fairs.
You don't remember that?
Bro, they're still in Ryman's and we're in the Premier League.
I know, but this is a get back.
It's like a kickabout with like my son, like in the garden, like when he nutmegs man or tackles man and that, like, and then
we lost the Barnet 6-2. It was 2019.
It means nothing.
Yeah,
it means nothing.
The 1920 season. Well,
if anything, it's more justice for Barnet, and that's not even me being disrespectful. It's a good run up for us fitness wise, but obviously it'll be great receipts for them. So.
Bro, I don't care if we're crazy unfit. You don't lose 6-2 to Barnet, man. We can't have that again. Let's just say that. All right, imagine tomorrow we lose 6-2. You think we're gonna be on here all acting calm? I know people are gonna be like,
no, but I'll tell you exactly why. I'll tell you exactly why.
There will be a meltdown.
I'll tell you why. Right?
All of that. Yeah.
I'll tell you why, because I won't be here.
Exactly.
I promise you this, guys, right?
Exactly.
Dee will be WhatsApping me from about 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and I will just put my shit on red. I will just look at that message and be like,
imagine a meltdown if it was to lose 6-2 tomorrow to Barnet. Look at the meltdown. That we haven't even played any games. There's been a crazy meltdown. That can't happen again. I don't think it will happen again, anyways. But it was only in 2019.
If we lose 6-2 to Barnet tomorrow, I won't be here. Don't worry about it.
Well, Hodgson again. Once again, his manager. Hodgson against Barnet away from home. We can measure the progress from how far we've gone from 2019 to 2023 facing Barnet. That's our measurement.
I'm not even joking, you know. Seriously, even if people saw me in the street and was going, "Hey, Jay, listen, don't know, man. Like, I'll go into hiding. Trust me. Well, sunglasses, hoodie up, everything inconspicuous, man.
Yeah, taking another little break, man. Taking another little break if that was happening.
No, I'm wrong with that, mate. No, I'm wrong with
Tim saying still no international memberships on sale, so I won't see it tomorrow. Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
Well, even with the Palace TV, no?
Yeah, so it's on Palace TV. Yeah, it's on Palace TV.
All them little hookup American channels, man. You lot must be able to get, because you lot get free, don't you?
But with all due respect, who on earth on TV is going to show Palace versus Barnet on a preseason friendly? Apart from Palace TV, there's going to be no one. I thought
Patrick would be over there. I thought Patrick and T would be promoting it over there, mate. Sorting it out.
For you know ESPN, what I mean? Palace versus Barnet. The
ESPN
the revenge season. Nah, man. No, I don't think it'll be on TV. It'll be on Palace TV. So if you have a subscription, then make sure to check it out on Palace TV.
Oh, I'm tempted.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to be watching on Palace TV. Yep. To be fair, I've been thinking behind the scenes whether to do a watch along about it, but tomorrow we'll probably.
Wait, hold on. Did you add the season match plus to your season ticket?
No, I didn't add it. My one is separate, so it got renewed. It got renewed early in July, so I paid like £50. I think it is for the year. So
yeah, I think it's like 20 quid or something like that to watch the preseason. I'm tempted. We'll see.
I'll be
sweating. You know, you're gonna get to like 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow, and I'm gonna be sitting there sweating, thinking about it. And I'm gonna be like, oh man, just click it.
When you see the lineup, when you see the lineup, people are gonna be like,
refunds.
Yeah, when the lineup comes out, I know people are gonna be like, see, this is why I don't want Hodgson. This is what I'm talking about. He always plays the same people. Oh, it's gonna be funny.
Or the Sean Derry and Paddy's got their info in it. Yay!
Yeah. It wouldn't be funny, but it wouldn't be funny. But I can already like see the potential meltdown if we lose tomorrow. Like I can envision it, man. I know what Palace Twitter's like. I know what it's like, man. Every time I log in, there's something crazy going on half of the time. So I can already envision.
Wait, hold on. Can we just address this comment from Tim? What on earth is ESPN 8? Is that a thing?
Yeah, they got like ESPNs in it. They got like 1, 2, 3, 4. They got all type of sports in it. So one ESPN ain't enough.
Damn. God
damn.
ESPN 8.
Yeah. ESPN 8, 11, 12, I guess.
Would they play on like horse racing or something? Like, I don't.
Do Americans like horse racing?
Lacrosse or something? Or lacrosse, or I don't know, like tiddlywinks or something. Like, how does that work?
For all American viewers, including Tim, do you guys watch horse racing over there?
Educate me.
Yeah, I don't really see America as like a horse racing type of thing. Like I see it as more like, what's it called? You know, dog racing. What's dog racing called? Again, there's a name. What's it called? Dog racing.
You're asking me, the most un-American person.
Well, let us know in the chat. There's a name for dog racing.
I thought they just called it the races or whatever.
Maybe. There's a meltdown on every day ending in Y, to be fair. Dan has a question saying, you're doing a match reaction to all the friendly D. Well, we'll see, because it's friendlies it's a bit hard, but we'll have some coverage 100%. So tomorrow we'll most likely jump on around 10 o'clock again. So yeah, we'll
unless we lose,
digest it. Unless if my connection's fine as it was today, I'll be here. I don't know if anyone else will join me.
If we lose, call somebody else.
Yeah, call somebody else. Plastic BOTN members. That's what you get here. Plastic. As soon as we lose, no one's available. But as soon as we win, everyone's available all of a sudden.
What are you talking about? When we lose, I'm normally here to rant all day, mate.
When we lose, but when we win, everyone wants to jump on. I see how it is.
That's how it works, mate.
But yeah, look, we'll do 100%. Even next season, people planning stuff behind the scenes. There should be more match day content. There should be, more stuff going on. So tomorrow we'll come on. We'll talk about the latest news on top of the game as well. There might be surprises as well. I haven't ruled it out 100%. There might even be a watch along. Would you guys want to see a watch along? Well, it won't really be like in-depth watch along, but it might be like a live interaction, questions, watching maybe some youngsters or players. If you guys want to see that, let us know as well. We might be doing that for some of these friendlies. I think it might be a bit interesting. If you guys want it anyway, so let us know. Mate, I can just see Patrick going off the moment things go wrong this season. Well, I wouldn't blame him, because he's got his own theory, so his theory will most likely come true if things are going wrong. What was that?
I was like,
agenda. Well, you say agenda, but if Patrick is going off because things are going wrong, then his agenda or theory, whatever you want to say, has come true.
Well, it's not really an agenda, actually. At the end of the day, he's passionate about it. He's passionate about it, so,
Exactly. And plus, trust me, we have been doing, for those who are new to the channel, we have been doing watch-alongs. If you go all the way back, we've done watch-alongs. And me and Patrick done watch-alongs on the Roy Hodgson. Trust me, it wasn't only Patrick that was annoyed. Me, I kind of hated football at that moment. But it's a new era. So, we have to give him a chance. He ended the season well. Let's just say that. There's a meltdown. We're going to wrap it up, people, in just a second, because can't see Wi-Fi holding up the whole game, to be fair. Fingers crossed. It's not even my Wi-Fi, people. My Wi-Fi is actually very fast. I've done a speed check. It's like 200 mbs. Like, I don't know how much faster you want it to be. I think it's just the application, really. That's why it is shut it down. But Martin says Periscope has some live fan videos from games. Yeah, some people might try to stream it from the games, but it's going to be on Palace TV, people. So if you haven't already done so, probably subscribe.
I mean, if there's any streaming websites, feel free to send that link to me on my Twitter, just so I can.
I think it will
make
be
sure
like
it's fair and legit.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess not everyone can afford it, innit? But if there is, then but Palace TV is there. If Palace TV, it's simple. Wherever you are, you can probably watch.
Yes, D, single-handedly funding the transfer window. You'd love to see it. The back of this money goes well.
to Palace TV, yeah. I mean, I don't know who we're funding for £50, but fairs.
Yeah, adds up, mate.
Yeah. I mean, Lerma, we're always on the free, so I guess we funded him. But look, people, I don't know how we've gone on for 44 minutes. This was really a test to see how long I could survive. I guess I have survived, so that's progress there. But we'll see this week what happens with Zaha's situation. We'll be back tomorrow, maybe for the watch along. It's a little twist. Could we be back? We don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know myself, so I can't tell you 100% we'll be back for watch along. But if not, we'll be back at 10 p.m. tomorrow, reacting to the game and reacting to all the latest news. I doubt there'll be that much news, considering that we're playing on the day. But saying that, it's pre-season, so there might be a few bits and bobs out there. But as always, we'll cover it. If you have enjoyed this, I don't ask for much. Just a like if you have enjoyed it. And also subscribe if you're new here and want to see more Palace content. That's all I ask for. That's all we ask for. That would be much appreciated, people, if you have done that already. Yeah, Greyhound. That's it. Greyhound. Don't you know about Greyhound, AJ?
Greyhound racing.
Yeah, don't you know?
They used to have it in Wimbledon, down the road from when I went to school. They used to have a Greyhound track in Wimbledon.
Yeah. I think it's dogs. Yeah, it's dogs.
Which
but anyways,
is,
yeah, we'll talk about Greyhound tomorrow. Let me wrap this up. Let me wrap this up. Thanks to every single one of you that's joined us live. Thanks to everyone who's watching on replay. That's it from me and AJ. And until next time, up the Palace, people, and keep safe.
Tra-la-la-la.